Hello, hello, everyone. We are live, and I have a special guest today. I'm very happy to have him back. Victor, the mass trader, is back with us live. How you doing, Victor?
Doing great. Even better now that I'm with you guys and we're able to dive into the ups and downs of the market and capture those opportunities we're all here for.
Indeed. This week is going to be an interesting week because we are, as you can see, the title of the week is the topic of the week. It's a new Fed era. Now, it looks like things are going to change at the Fed. We're getting a change from Powell to Kevin Warsh, so we'll see what that means. But before we talk about the Fed, let's get into these charts. I want to see what Victor is looking at. As usual, we're going to go through the indices. We're going to talk about gold because you guys have been asking for gold trades very often. And then, of course, we're going to talk about CL, so the oil futures. I'm going to share Victor's screen if he doesn't mind, so that you guys are used
Go
to
ahead.
hearing me
Yes,
talk. We want to see what Victor is cooking. Well,
sure.
all
Um,
right.
there we go. It is the minuscule time frame of the weekly. Actually, the the thing that I'm looking for this week is we've had a gigantic last week, right? Gigantic
Oof,
range,
yes,
and
especially
it's
Friday.
nice. It's bullish, yeah, especially Friday. Very bullish, very strong. However, my question is, are we gonna have a continuation? Probably not as quickly. And what is that going to mean for price action? Are we going to have that, healthy retrace? More likely than not, I would think, especially
Hmm.
with the news that just came out with the submarine. Um, Iran mentioning. Let me see if I can get it. We had at about. Let me put it on the screen here. Let's see if I
Please
can.
do, because I
Yes, there we
wasn't.
go.
There's so much news going on. I wasn't aware about the submarine thing.
Yes, and
Maybe I'm under a rock. I
obviously,
don't know.
it's obviously going to be that. That was about what uh, 16 minutes ago.
Okay.
And that's an escalation. Obviously, it means they're while Trump is the U.S. is trying to calm this the situation down, playing the waiting game basically on the counterparty on
Hmm.
Iran because of the blockade. They keep saying they have all the times. It's the other party that doesn't have the time on their side. I think. Well, I'm not a political analyst, but I think the plan that the Iran is doing here is trying to push the U.S. into that, military action, which is politically comes with a high price. And this is what it's. I guess the U.S. plan will succeed insofar they can hold the blockade and not be triggered by Iran to do anything militarily that would be have a backlash on their politically basically at home.
Yeah, definitely. The U.S. population usually doesn't really like, especially if you would have troops on the ground, you know, and then you would start getting casualties. That's never a good look, for the commanding officer in the U.S. So we'll see what happens. I've heard a lot of theories, a lot of talks about the situation over there and whether or not the U.S. can or will get troops over there. But it seems like the game right now for the U.S. is to continue to blockade the blockade and kind of force Iran's hand. I think they also rejected the
Yes,
the proposals. I know Trump made a tweet that there was going to be some pause of conflict for the past 3 days. But these days, every hour, there's a new update.
sure.
It's hard to keep up. So we're gonna look at the charts with the backdrop of that. And
Yes.
then
So
yeah.
mhm. Go ahead. No, I was going to say, while saying go ahead, I'm continuing. So that's kind of conflicting signals to you. Sorry about that.
No,
Okay.
it's fine.
Uh,
You're behaving like the market. You're giving me mixed signals.
I'm behaving like Trump a little bit.
Yeah, yeah,
Go,
exactly.
go, stop, go. Anyways, the market has been, if you look at a higher time frame, we are, from that was why I started with the weekly. That is such a huge range, and it is after the breakout that we have from the previous all-time high, and we haven't had any retrace yet. It doesn't have to happen quickly, but you would want to have some kind of retracement, form some kind of base at that level or higher. That hasn't happened yet, and the longer that takes on, the more difficult it is for the market to continue without any correction. It's actually healthy. You actually want it, even for a trend following trader. You want to see that rebound, that retrace, and then a rebound. I mean, so the daily time frame is I believe quite extended. Yes, it can continue. We know the saying: the market can keep irrational longer than you can
Remain
finance your
solvent.
position.
Yeah,
Remain solvent, indeed. So it's still possible. So that's not a reason to go short at all. But I mean, by now we should at least take some positions off, because as time goes by, it increases the chance for that retracement. Perhaps, as we can see here on the daily, we do have a nice order block on the daily, which is still fresh, and even all of these, which are much lower than we are perfectly fitting in the bullish scenario, right? For market to just continue on and on. I'm not saying it's going to reverse, just saying be careful about that possible, especially if there's something happen like a submarine or maybe even something bigger, that could be changing the market's perspective and perception of risk. And if you go to the lower time frames, you can see that the market has been, trying to uh, continue, but not really. I mean, market hasn't opened yet, but
indeed.
so far what we've seen, it kind of sets. I don't know. It seems to me like the market isn't exactly ready to push forward just yet. So I'm keen to see if there are, if you will, on the lower time frames, if the market is going to be able to hold. Maybe I should go to the 1 hour. Maybe if the market is able to hold the supply zones that we have created before, it seems to be having a little bit of a difficulty there, but that can pale out as the market opens. And but if it does break, then I'm certainly going to be looking for the retest for that continuation, because I think there's plenty of possibility of going south for some time, maybe a session, maybe half a session, maybe a couple of days, um, until we find some kind of bottom, and possibly that could be something that we see on the daily as well. So I'm actually, overall, the bias is bullish, but shorter term, I think we should be expecting sellers to be coming, and profit taking to be happening on the Nas.
I can't disagree with you there, especially after that session we had on Friday. I mean, we really took off. I think we printed what is it, 400 plus points on the Nasdaq. So
Yep.
that was a massive session. It was almost a uh,
Yep.
straight
Did you catch
way up.
did you
Straight.
catch any of it?
I did. I caught some of it on Friday. We don't stream on Friday, so it wasn't live, but I did catch some of it, which was good. I didn't expect we were going to go that high, so it wasn't an insane trade, but it was a pretty good one for me. And I'm definitely looking for some pullbacks today. Now, I'm just gonna say a quick hello to everybody in the chat before I continue, because I don't want to, leave you guys hanging. We have so Game Show, you changed his name. His name is BTC I like the Game Show better, but hey, it's not my channel. So welcome back, Game Show. We have Tuba back in the house. Good morning. Good morning. If you don't know Victor, I have the man, the mass trader in the house today. Victor with me, who's gonna give us insane knowledge. By the way, Victor does sessions on Discord, which are very informative. I've attended a couple of them quietly in the back of the classroom taking notes. Good morning, Tinana. Welcome back. Welcome back. But yeah, back to what was I was saying. I also think that there might be some positioning going on because we have a change happening this Friday on the 15th, and I was looking at some historical stuff. And last time when
Mhm.
we had the change from Janet Yellen to Powell, we had about 3 days. Maybe I can show you guys on the chart. I'm going to switch to my screen really quick because I like to look at the past to kind of, well, we can't predict the future, but it can you know give us a little bit of insight on what might happen. So if I zoom out here, I have my gold chart, but let's go on the Nasdaq all the way back to February 2018, which is when the switch happened. I think it was February 5th, the date I looked at. There we go. I have it marked here. So that week, and it was a Monday, it started on a Monday. So let's say this was the first day. um the market pulled back, quite a bit, at least on the Nasdaq. So this was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So we're talking a almost 10% pullback that week that we had the Fed switch. So will we see the same situation um this week? I don't know, but I'm definitely keeping that in mind because if we're going to see a pullback, especially after that huge run that we've had, which I think, I don't know your opinion on that, but I think it's been somewhat of a short squeeze, Victor. I think the fact that we've run up so much on the indices is a combination of a lot of people being shorts and then, of course, people piling in long. I don't know.
Sure.
That's my opinion on that.
I think whenever you have a breakout and the market doesn't come back, and the market has these outside days where it goes actually went 845 points. I mean that, and it didn't come back at all during the whole session. It didn't retreat.
Yeah.
It didn't have a retrace. I mean, the only way I can understand that there's certainly squeezing going on there.
Definitely, definitely. I mean, you're looking at including today. Well, let me just exclude today. That's what, 38 days. So 28 sessions of just almost no red days, So
Mhm.
and then especially that Friday, like you're saying, it's just it was a straight move up with very shallow pullbacks. So we'll see. We'll see if we get some profit taking today or not. But I definitely think the big players are positioning themselves in relation to not only that Fed change, what's the tone going to be, but also the fact that Trump is going to China that same day between the 14th and 15th. And then we have that whole backdrop of war. So a lot of things going on at the same time. And
Mm,
then this
certainly.
week, we're going to have economic data come out. We have, let me just switch. Today, we don't have huge news, just home sales. But tomorrow we have core inflation. Wednesday, we're gonna have the PPI. Thursday we have retail sales, and then on Friday we have that Fed change. So just so a week packed with news is gonna be interesting. I'm seeing a lot of comments here that we want to maybe address. So BTC USD X Game Show is saying at the end of February the indices starting behaving differently with beginning of this war. Before I like to sell heavily on Thursdays, and the Thursdays would reverse. Okay, so well, it's good that you're noting that we get regime changes in the markets, and you're sorry, adjusting your trading. That's something I used to miss in the past, but that's good that you're catching that. He's saying it's complicated studying new patterns. And then we have Tuba saying, is it just me or did NASDAQ chart become like M2 supply? Well, that's a funny
it's
take there, Tuba.
it's only temporary. We need to not,
Yeah.
lose sight of the cycle nature of the market. Even if there's an extended bull run, there will be a time where the market will start to let go of that regime and correct itself. It's only healthy, and you
Yep.
should be prepared for that, and not think it's M2 chart all the time.
Yeah. Exactly, exactly. Things need to come back to earth before we can go back up. I don't know if you want to take a look at gold, Victor. I'd like to get your opinion on gold since we have about 15 minutes before the up market opens. Um, I'd like to have your take there.
Sure, let's do that. I'll do a
All right.
top-down analysis on gold from the let's uh, see the market for what it is on the higher time frames. We are getting close to a supply area that we should expect some kind of reaction from the lower border of that level, which is at 4,720. And actually, maybe I should look
We're looking
at
at the
from
monthly, right?
Yes, I'm looking at the
Okay.
monthly, and maybe I should do it from the future since we're on the future channel for those levels. If you're trading and you want to be taking advantage of that, so we're talking about the lower level of that order block, which is still fresh. Yes, the market is very bullish, but on the lower time frame, even on the weekly, but certainly on the daily. And certainly, if you're scalping, you're gonna see these reactions so many times when price gets to these lower levels on the of a structure that is on a higher time frame, very important or relevant, which is the monthly is, you can expect some kind of a reaction. Not necessarily a complete reversal, but still a reaction. That's one thing you want to be considering. Other than that, we don't have anything holding gold from lower levels until the end of this month, which is far away. We're only 11 calendar days into the current month. If you go to the next level or next time frame, we can see that we are very nicely, very bullishly, and that's an indication of what we can expect in the coming time, which is, I mean, how much beautiful can you expect this price action? Price creates the order block, pushes higher, touches the higher time frame supply zone, comes back to what I just mentioned, the upper border in this case, not the lower border, but the upper border of the a weekly time frame, and reacts. And actually, beautifully, it not only reacts, but it leaves on the weekly time frame. It leaves another order block, and that's typical of. That's very indicative, very obvious, evident that the market wants to go higher, and eventually, if it keeps on doing this, it will end up going higher. So
Hmm.
we have a demand zone that was created last week on top of a previous one. That's what you want to be seeing. So on the higher time frame, things are looking very nicely bullish for gold. I mentioned this lower border that I would want to either, if you're in a, let's say, a day trade or even a short swing trade, you want to take at least some profits there, if not the whole position, because you can expect some kind of a reaction there. And but things are looking very nicely bullish for gold on the higher time frame. Let's see if we can find anything. We want to be careful with the area right here, which is a outside bar that is no longer fresh, but can that's actually on the daily time frame. But can be targeted if you're on the lower time frame. That could be a nice area to be. I'm indicating multiple levels that we need to be considering. That's the monthly. There's an area here which is part of a is actually a bearish entry order block on that quasi. I'll show you guys what I mean. That's the daily. So that means that this is the left shoulder head neckline, breaks it, and this becomes then the entry order block short. Um, you know, as with anything, with indicators, price action, we need to be cognizant of the hierarchy in time frames. And the higher time frames are telling me the weekly are telling us that the market wants to go higher, and likely that's the path of least resistance. However, these areas will have their effect on the market, even if later the market continues to go higher. And no, these reaction can actually go quite deep. So you want to be aware of the reversal pattern that we have created, and be mindful of them, either for your targets or maybe even get in for some, session trade of a short in the lower time frames. Let's see, when was this? This was caused by the submarine, because that happened on this candle right there, and I'm not
I was
sure what
about to
happened
ask
here.
because I'm like, man, this is looking
Yep.
looking like the Nasdaq on Friday.
Yes. Actually, this is the line where the it happened at 47. So basically, a few bars before, but that was the so this movement can be interpreted as a risk on for the market, for the gold market. Let's see, what else do we see for today? So we have on the H4 some levels here that are no longer fresh. So that opens the door for it to be broken and to be, the market is had grab liquidity already, push lower and coming back. That's an indication that the market might be ready for the second. This is the second retest, makes it more
Mhm.
easier for price to go through that structure. That's one thing you want to be thinking about or taking into account. And actually also had a nice break and retest of that level, right? We broke through it, came back, retested, and rejected the break of that level. Things are looking quite nicely for price to go a little bit higher. There is a level here on the daily, and this is a supply zone still, even though it's a second retest. Um, you know, Given the news, I would think the H4, the daily, even there, if there's a reversal pattern on the daily, they're telling us that the market is certainly not under the impression of these reversal patterns. They are prices getting ready for continuation, I would say.
Mhm.
It's clear. It's retesting on the weekly. You can see this is the first retest, that candle on the weekly, and on the daily we are retesting a broken level, break and retest, weekly, daily, and for hourly. Is There isn't a structure here that I could target, but the market structure is clear to me. Us, right? Market is certainly pushing forward to that continuation, as I see that on 1 hour. Let's see what we can find of. All right, so we need to be careful about this area, which also is expanded. So it's actually not a great area for sellers, because the lower time frame, the hourly, is wider than the H4. That's a sign that the structure is not as great as otherwise. Meaning, yes, there is a reversal pattern, but it's a weak one. It's an inferior one, meaning you don't want to be going short there because of that. So those are little nuances in assessing probabilities of quasis. The wideness of the area that the quasi is indicating. So I would say the market is getting ready for some continuation. Let's see if I can get a place to get in.
It does look like a continuation, and
Yep.
I just saw a little gap there in the 40. Oh, sorry, I thought it was 47.80, but it's much higher at those 48.50s. But we'll see. We'll see how gold behaves, because gold has a tendency of moving sideways for quite a while and just exploding
Hmm.
and forgetting that it needs to stop. So we'll see. We'll see what we get. Like we got a few days ago, I think it was on the 6th. Things just exploded to the upside. But because the indices are, I'm looking at the indices right now, the Nasdaq and the ES, etc. Because the indices are stalling, that tells me that we probably have money rotating into gold, and positioning happening where it's maybe starting to be a little bit risk off on equities, and then money rotating to gold, kind of going into that safe haven to just be safe for the coming days, depending on what's going to happen. And we'll see, but we definitely are seeing a lot of strength on gold, and I don't want to fight that.
Yeah, you don't want to be on the other hand, on the other side of this trade. I mean, the market is clearly reacting violently on the news, and until there's some end in sight, this can continue. That's some strong some push there, and the market isn't the equities hasn't opened yet.
Yep. We have BTC saying the gold option has a call wall at 440, indicating that gold will rise a bit more. Okay, we'll see. 440. So we're at 440. I guess that would be on the CFD side because right now we are at 742. I'm not sure what level you're talking about.
Mm.
Or was it 740 maybe? Because we're already at 740. But anyways, I just want to say hello to Justin. Welcome back. Good to see you. As usual, we're gonna be drawing boxes as usual, Justin, and find that opening range when it opens. Justin is like he's always saying he's just here for the boxes. So
Is he?
yeah, he's here for
Actually,
me drawing boxes. So we'll see.
uh, actually, I mean, it sounds simplified, but it's a good thing to make it very, very easy, like a gold,
Yeah,
not gold, right? It's a breakout, not or not what level, and these boxes they help you to indicate that, and that's why I use order blocks because
yeah.
it's a simple demarcated area where it takes away the guessing, and you just execute the plan without thinking too much.
Indeed. I mean, there's you can make it like they say KISS, keep it simple and stupid. You can
Mm,
do it like that. But actually did a presentation last week where it was like 7 levels of difficulty for trading the opening range. And you
mhm.
can layer it. Like it can get very as complicated as you want it. You could start with some simple boxes and just look at the candles and take the breakout, but you can gradually add levels to it. But I think keeping it somewhat simple is probably better than overcomplicating it because then you start overthinking things, and then you kind of miss trades, which has happened to me as well. And then I did this little indicator for TradingView. With Claude Code, you can. I've been coding all sorts of stuff, so I did
Nice,
an indicator specifically to trade the opening range. I haven't used it live much, but it's pretty interesting. Maybe I'll show it to you while we trade today.
nice.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's pretty cool.
it's actually very exciting time for traders because we have tools today at our disposal that we didn't have. I mean, even 2 years ago, even a year ago.
Even
Personally,
3 months ago. I mean, every few months it changes.
yeah, and not even talking about when we started or when I started trading. Um, you know, the landscape as a retail trader was completely different,
Yep,
and to our benefit.
of course.
There's a lot of options, and you may get option fatigue or choice fatigue, and you may lose yourself in the jungle of options and things, and it may take a while until you see what's valuable and what's not. But there's really a lot of it can accelerate your progress, your success, and in leaps, in my
Indeed.
opinion.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. I'm just gonna switch to my screen really quick so we can watch the open together. I'm gonna switch to the ES.
Hmm.
So we're about to open in about a minute. So we want to see what the ES is gonna do. But the idea on the ES is kind of similar as the Nasdaq. We have a small gap here from the Asian session. So we want to see how we're going to behave around that. All right, we just open. This is a 1 hour chart, so I just want to zoom out, look at the 1 minute on the left, and then we'll put the 5 minute chart on the right. We've had a lot of sideways consolidations, sideways action. Full disclosure, I am actually short on another account, and then we'll see what kind of trades we can get on this one, since this one is the one I trade live in front of you guys. So we'll see what we get.
Oh,
Does
nice
my
reaction.
short get stopped out? And do we just continue to push higher? Do these shorts keep getting squeezed? And I would be one of them.
Not
We'll
funny.
see. No, I've learned to laugh at the losses now because they're under control, so it's fine.
Good, good. You gotta have a sense of humor,
Of course.
and not take it too seriously. The market is very
Otherwise, you
strong.
cry.
The open is. I'm sorry. Beg your pardon.
No, I said if you're not laughing, then you're crying, and
Yeah,
we don't want to be crying live on stream.
yeah,
So
for sure.
it would be a forever meme.
Or crying of joy.
I'd rather that. I'd rather that. All right, so we're definitely exploding to the upside right now.
Yep.
Um,
We have about 80 pips, 80 points already on the Nasdaq, the NQs right now from the
indeed,
opening range. I mean,
8 points on the yes, 80 points on the Nasdaq. Wow, that is very strong.
yeah, yeah, it is.
Usually when we
We're
get
only
an
a minute
opening
and a half.
range, only a minute and a half. That I think more shorts are getting squeezed. I think it's a combination of just people piling in long, and then people thinking, man, this is too high. They need to short it. And that is including me. You know, I thought we were going to get a
Mm.
dip before we got the rip. And I just got stopped out.
Oh,
So
okay.
no,
I'm sorry
it's
for
fine.
your loss.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. A good thing I'm dressed in black. It's a funeral. But
You
we'll see
gotta, you
what we get.
gotta, yeah, you gotta smile at life. And I mean, losses is just fine. I mean,
Part of the game. Part of the game.
yeah, yeah, nothing out of the ordinary. I take losses all the time. Um,
Yep.
and
Um,
some sting, some don't.
yeah,
But it's
some
fine.
sting more than others,
Yeah,
but this one was a calculated one. So we'll see. Wow, this is really taking off. So
yeah, it
we'll
is.
see where we can possibly find entries. We're not gonna FOMO into this, so we'll see what we can get.
What are you expecting? I mean, are you switching now to go long? Now you see the opening first 3 minutes basically is all going berserk. Do you think, okay, so now I'm gonna be waiting for price to establish the range? I'm gonna look something. I'm gonna look for something to go long,
Yeah.
or okay.
Overall, yes, because I'm seeing a lot of strength. It's going to
Mhm,
depend. We're going to look at the behavior of the price, but that's why, speaking of drawing boxes, let's just zoom out and look at what I did on Friday, which
mhm,
simplified things. When things are running away from you like that, you kind of want to see, because the pattern of behavior we're seeing today is a similar pattern of behavior we saw Friday. Friday,
mhm,
the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes of trading, we moved up. What was it? We moved up 117 points. Then we had a pullback, and you had an opportunity to get long around 28,960, somewhere around here, if you missed that initial move. So that's what I'm looking for today. We're going to look at the range. We're going to see, hopefully, the idea would be, if we could form a range, break out. What I would prefer is a break out of the range, out of the 15-minute
mhm,
range, a pullback above that opening range, and then a continuation for a long. And because that shows you that there's really a lot of strength. If, on the contrary, we go to the upper end of the range, we reject, and then we retrace back to what I would call, the 50% discount, we could probably look for some entries there. And if that aligns with some previous level or some fair value gap or whatever, some reference point to the left, that would be
mhm.
very beneficial. What I don't want to see for long is us test the upper end of the range and then pull back all the way to the low of the range, even though that could be a liquidity grab that could fool the shorts and be a great long for us. But we're just gonna look at the behavior of price, see what it does, and then take a decision from there. And then if we get a lot of rejection, then that would be telling as well. So we'll just look at how the price behaves. The area I don't want to be taking trades in, at least from the open, is this zone right here, which I call no man's land. So down here, between 29,250 and 29,300, more or less, because here I have no idea what the price is going to do. This is the area which I think if we're going to move sideways, we might just move sideways from there because it is the bottom of the Asian session. So if I take my boxes, so this is the range we've had the whole previous session, more or less, right? And if we go down to this area, then I don't know. I'm not sure what's going to happen in this area. So I don't want to be taking any trades here. I want to be taking trades below the Asian session or slightly to the upper third of that session. So we'll see what happens.
And I thrive in that area.
There?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I need to
Yeah.
start watching you more.
The thing is, I go in knowing that that's the area, the unknown, the unknown territory, uncharted,
Mhm.
and anything
I've
can
seen you.
happen
I've
there.
seen you. You're talking about those longs that you catch that give you like
Yeah,
10-hour returns, right? Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I go there and I will let the market either indicate that it's weak and I'll do nothing,
Hmm.
or have some kind of impulse, some reversal on the 1 minute, and sometimes even on the 15 second, and try to catch the very edge of the possible reversal. And of course, the win rate is low,
Hmm.
but that's fine. That's the price I pay, and I just want to get in. And once I get in, I know, and it reverses, because whenever it comes back to the above the level, it becomes clear for everyone that's a place of strength. And
Yeah.
but I'm already in, and I'm way safe with my stop.
Of course.
So it's either I get stopped out quickly, or I'm in a very, very good level.
It is great when one is able to catch these entries there. I'm glad I'm not the only one that looks at a 15-second chart. You made me feel a lot better today, because I'll look up when you see me looking up. I'm not looking at the sky or the angels. I'm just looking at either the tick chart or the 15 or 30-second chart. So that's good that
Mhm,
somebody else looks at very low time frames
mhm.
just like I do. So yeah. Very
I
interesting, very
wanna
interesting. These
I
levels are
wanna
quite
show
interesting. Yeah.
the you mean the low of the Asian?
This pre-market
Or
low right here and the
okay.
low of the, things to consider. You want to show something? Let me switch back to your screen.
Yeah, yeah. If you could, what I think is, the market is with that initial reaction, or I see the bulls in Pamplona, getting out of the gates. That's what I see when the market opens, and it goes like this, right? So I want to say, by the looks of these horns, it wants to go up, right? That's clear to
Hmm.
everyone. um and if we zoom out, what area do we have that indicate where the market will find support later on? And there is, on the 4 hour, it hasn't closed yet, so we still have to wait for 20 minutes. But on the 4 hour, there is a possible fresh order block to be created, possibly even an outside bar. That's some clear indication where we could be looking for possible areas after 20 minutes. So basically, in at the turn of the hour, for the lower time frame, there isn't a lot more to look for than that, which is, we want price to be closing higher and then coming back. Let me indicate it, coming back, and you can start at the that level, that upper border of that H4. Start looking for indication either on the 15, the 30 minutes, or the 5, whichever you like trading, for possible continuation, right? So because the market typically tells you it wants to go up, but it doesn't go in a straight line all the time. It will come back, it will play with you, maybe sometimes, take liquidity from the underside, below that level, and then continue higher. This is not very likely, as you mentioned, Dave, because not very likely to happen because of the if it has the impulse, it's not going to retrace that much. It's not going to come
Yep.
back and retest the lower, but sometimes it does before it just catapults forward. So you want to be ready, and I say this level is important for our viewers, which is that's indicated here, right? So that's the 29, 321.50. That's where you want to be looking for possible levels or structures to be created on a lower time frame, maybe on the 15-minute, for indication as to where the market could bottom as it moves higher. That's before, if it already breaks that opening range, and then levels or stays on the upper border, then obviously this level doesn't carry the same kind of relevance anymore, because it's clearly finding support something higher. Maybe the level of the previous swing high, that could be as well somewhere you would be looking for possible levels for getting in on that long. Although I'm getting ahead of ourselves because the range isn't closed yet, and on the lower time frame there's clearly, I would be waiting. If I see this, I will be waiting for price to close and then see how it reacts to this level, perhaps come back to that level, and then try to catch a reversal from that, and then hold that for the breakout. Because I think if it comes back, if it is able to convince the traders, on both sides, that there is a breakout, then we're gonna have another possible, maybe not as big as last Friday, but a
You
continuation
never
of
know.
something similar.
You never
You
know.
never know. That's
But
true. You'll
in
never
your
know.
honor, Victor, since you're streaming with me, I will. If we do find that setup, then I'll take it live on stream so we could see how it works out. So definitely we're going to take a look at these levels, and if we can get something that definitely makes sense, hopefully we'll be able to catch it. So right now we're oscillating in the middle of the range, right above that 50% area. Let me
Mhm.
just. So we'll see what happens. But
Okay.
in the meantime, while this is developing, maybe I could give you a quick look at that little indicator I was telling you about that I developed. Let me just
Please
just
do.
keep looking. Give me a second because I see the buyers starting to pile in. I don't want to.
Be left
How do you
out.
call that? I don't want to be left out, but I don't want to get in too early either,
Yeah. True.
because we could just retest those highs and reverse back down. So I think I'm gonna wait. All right,
So this is the area to me where I would be wanting to. I know it doesn't look
enter.
to enter or to look uh, a level where that makes sense to me, and
Mhm.
ideally after it takes the low, something similar like that, where it leaves a wick behind, telling us that the market is ready for that continuation.
Indeed, and we have a pretty good range today, so I'm gonna have to be really small. We already displaced 155 points, which is great. But then I'm gonna have to be risking a 2 hour stop instead of a 1 hour today on the future side if I want to trade the Nasdaq. Let's look at the ES to see. ES might be Man, the ES is looking very strong, even stronger than the NQ. The other day, that happened where the setups were, I mean, the NQ was moving sideways while the ES was just taking off. So
Mm,
the morning asset to trade, and we've talked about that a lot on stream. You know, sometimes it's good to kind of rotate and look at different assets because the setups will
mhm,
look better on one in comparison to the other. And right now, the ES has just been pushing higher. It's already taken out those Asia highs. It's already filled the overnight session gap, and we're just really taking off in the ES. All right.
all right, so whenever you're ready, but in the meantime, we can start looking for, structures. Even though it's only in the 1 minute, it can still give you some, not possible entry, just a 1 minute structure, right? So that's an area that I want to be retested at some point. It could do something like that. That would be nice. It's not the area that I am interested in, but I can still, trading, the breakout, that can still be a good place. That's the last one that indicated there. That's the area that I want to be trading. Um, but sometimes it doesn't come back all that low. So you want to
Sometimes it
be,
doesn't.
yeah, you want to be flexible. Otherwise, it's fine. It's fine. I mean, if you're rule based and you only trade that area, then fine. No question about it. Actually, I like being rule based and rigid to the plan. But if you're a discretionary and you're an action price action trader, the action might be somewhere else, and so you wanna be able to capture some of that as well.
Indeed. I'm just gonna switch to my screen
Yeah,
really quick to show you
go
what
ahead.
I'm looking at. But we are so let me switch to the ES really quick. So if we're looking at the opening range on the ES, we already, broke out. Don't have the levels here. Let me just pull them up. But this was the opening of the session. We had this gap right here. We've completely filled the gap. We've broken above these highs here. We've taken out these last week sessions highs. So we're really bullish on the ES. Right now, we had a little bit of a pullback. I talk about the 50% discount. So we got that right here, that pullback. So that would have been a possible good entry long. Now, the second setup that we could look for is that literal opening range breakout. You can take it on the break. Usually, you can scale in there, risking this prior low, but ideally what you want to see is some kind of a pullback. And if it's really bullish, it won't touch this line. It'll kind of, make a higher. If you're fighting to fight if you're fighting for the price, meaning you're fighting to find a good price, then that means it's really bullish. If you're finding it
Mm,
too easy to enter, then it's not as bullish as you think. So usually. So we would be looking, if it's on the ES, for some kind of pullback here for a continuation higher. But what I'm thinking is we might get what we got the other day, where earlier in the session we had the very strong push on the ES, and then money kind of rotated to the Nasdaq, and we
mhm.
got good entries there. So we're gonna be monitoring both to see what we can get. But so far, I'm leaning bullish. So that blue line is the Asian session high. That green line is the London high, and we are, definitely oscillating above them. What we want to find out right now is how are we going to react to this area here? How are we going to react to the highs? Will shorts re-enter the chat, as they say? And then will we go and find those prices Victor has been talking about? That would be awesome because it would be great to take this trade together live. But if not, then we'll just be patient and wait for something that makes sense. If there's something we've learned from the markets for the past 28 sessions, is that opportunities will come. Okay. Don't FOMO in because you thought Monday was great. Well, Tuesday's even better. You thought Tuesday was great, then Wednesday's even better. So just sit back, relax. Your setups will come. Um, don't don't FOMO in.
Market reacting bearishly quite heavily.
Indeed, we see some selling
That's
here.
that's good. I mean, as long as I don't see anything on the new side of things.
No, I think
So
this is normal market behavior. Usually, when we get
yeah.
newsprints, the price moves a lot more. It's a lot sharper. So
Hmm.
we'll see. But so far, behavior is kind of good. Oh, let's just take a quick look at the little indicator since
Yes,
it's
I'm
there.
very. You piqued my interest
Your
there.
interest.
Uh,
I'm just showing off, Victor. I'm just showing off. So there you go. This is the indicator. Let me get the lines out. So what it does
what is it
for
based
you
on? Yeah.
So what it does for you is it traces the first 15 minutes of the opening range. So you have these two blue lines here that shows you the opening range, and then these two lines show you the London low and the Asia low. And then you
Right.
have the triggers. So what it says here, B and A plus is your trigger. So a B is kind of a B type of entry based on the rules, and the A is an A plus entry based on the rules. Now, what
Hmm.
it does as well is it traces a trend line based on the previous high. And then the
Hmm.
yellow line here gives you the 50%. And then you have some checks in your favor. Maybe let me make this a little bit bigger. Let's see. Dashboard, text size, large.
I like the name, by the way. Magneto Reverso. I
Reversal,
like
yeah,
it.
you're trying to, yeah, technically you're trying to catch a reversal, right? So I was like reversal. Let's just call it reversal. So, prior day, is it trading higher than the prior day? There's a check. Yes, it passed. Did it sweep the London low? Well, I guess it's giving an error here, or maybe it swept it after. But yes, and then opening range height. Is it wide? Is it narrow? So if it's wide, that means it's at 100 or more. So that's good. Where is the VIX trading at? If the VIX is too high right now, the VIX is at 18, which is good for us because it's not above 20. How is the dollar? The dollar is flat. So that is interesting also for us. Oil is going down with that arrow. That's why it's green. So it's good for us. So the verdict is like, you know, all the rules are great for us to take along. So we'll wait for a setup. And then you have your targets that are here based on the width of the range. So usually, you have the width of the range and then you're targeting 1.5. So the middle there, 1 to 1 if you're measuring the low here. So if I look at last week, for example, and this is on a 1 minute,
Mhm.
last week, well, it says B entries because they're right on the open, but it's discretionary. So you could take the entry if you want. But even if you took that late entry here, I mean, you still could have captured 277 points. So
Right.
yeah, and then these are kind of take profit areas. So if you entered on B here, first take profit would have been there, second would have been there, third would have been there if you entered with however many contracts. So yeah, that little indicator has been helping out, but
I
it's a
like it.
long only setup, so I need to work on one for shorts.
And why wouldn't you be able to reverse everything to indicate a
Well, I
short?
I do it myself, in a discretionary way. Like if the longs don't trigger, then I could just take the short. And it's just I've been trying to codify what I do in a discretionary way, to kind of
Hmm.
have to kind of be able to backtest and run backtest. And I've realized that some time frames give better results than others. So I've seen that trading it on a for example 30-minute time frame would give me very bad results. So it works better if you're trading it based on a 5 minute, a 1 minute, or oddly enough, a 15-minute time frame. So going too high doesn't work as well
Hmm.
as lower time frame entries. So yeah.
Okay. Very interesting. Very interesting. How long have you been trading this?
Well, the opening range forever, but this indicator I've been using on and off for about 2 months now.
Hmm.
And once I'm completely satisfied with it, I'll just share it with the community so they can
Nice.
have fun and give me some insights.
Yes, and we just touched that upper border we talked about on NAS.
That's
That is
yep,
29 321 plus 50. It's too early to say, I'm not gonna say to anyone to go long, but it's too early for me to do anything yet. You want to let price breathe in, breathe out, really show us its hand, and it's only touching now, so you need to be patient
indeed.
with
Kind of
it.
want to
It's
see
getting close to the area.
kind of what we want to see what we do here. Actually, let me put some circles like I usually do. So kind of want to see what we do here and possibly what we do around here. Let us know, guys. Let us know what you're looking at. Remember to like the stream. Remember to subscribe if you're not subscribed yet. I have the man, Victor, with me today. I've been looking forward to this one for a while. I have to say, the first time I streamed with the Fivers is what it was with Victor. So Victor will always have a special place. I remember that day I was very stressed, and then I took my first live trade. I was very stressed as well. Victor was like, "How many points did you win on that?" I said, 25. It was actually 75 points. I never told you that, but I was pretty stressed, so maybe my face didn't show it. But
It didn't show at all, but
well,
I can imagine. I mean, streaming does have does add an extra level of pressure
pressure,
or stress, because we're humans, right? And
indeed.
it's a stage. Even if it's a virtual stage, it's still a stage.
Indeed, indeed. And then you have to practice what you preach and get the result in real time, you know? So it's it's not, you can't hide. If you're saying, "Hey, this is the setup you need to wait for and this is how you need to take it," then well, when it shows up, you kind of have to take it, and then the market has you to prove you right or wrong. So
Yeah.
you can't really, well, so a lot of people fake it, but that's not our deal here at the Fivers. So we show you the real wins and the real losses. But
Yes,
super
and
excited here.
and it's live, so
Indeed.
there's no undoing. It's live.
It's live. It's live. They can replay it uh and see, oh, he said that but did the opposite. What's going on there? But
Exactly.
but let us know, guys. Remember to like the stream. By the way, this Friday, we're gonna have a special treat for you. I will let you know later on during the day or maybe tomorrow, but it's gonna be related to the Fed. And we're gonna have some extra guests. So I'll let you know. I'll let you know. But let us know what you're trading. If you have questions for Victor, let us know. Let us know while we're waiting for that trade to build, waiting for that hourly close here to see what kind of reaction we get. Even though I see the bulls are really trying to defend that level here. Let us know, guys. Don't be shy.
We have reached the level that we talked about the beginning. At the level is at 29 315 and 25 to be exact. That's the upper border of the level
Yep.
of the area of interest. We just touched it, and the market is reacting bullishly to it, but it's too early to say anything. I mean, the market will have these reaction all the time. Doesn't mean you have to get in. And as we speak, the market is going deeper into that level. The area to me is all the way to the low of the opening, and which is 281 and a half. So anything in there, this is the what I talked about. This is where I thrive, by going in with prudent risk. I can. put it in without worrying too much. I'm not risking the farm. I'm just getting one little position in. But if it does go my way, then my stop. If it doesn't go my way, my stop is nearby. If it does go my way, then I got in at a very nice level, which can then I can then reap the benefits.
Nice, nice, nice. We have BTC USD saying Dow Jones is leaving. I have to say that what we've observed recently is that we will have one index doing something that's slightly different from the other ones, and sometimes it could be a leading indicator. So the fact that the Dow Jones is pushing higher, let's just look at the. I'll put the micro MYM, and that's Samir's favorite asset that he trades all the time. The Dow Jones is actually printing green right now. So sometimes that acts as a leading indicator for us to say that, hey, maybe the indexes want to push higher. Now, one thing we really always need to consider is that with the Dow, you're only talking 30 assets, whereas with the Nasdaq, it's 100, and with the S&P, it's 500. So we want to see who has the loudest voice here. But looking, we're starting to hold. We dipped into that area we talked about. Let's just see if we get maybe a second entry. Probably take it. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Dow Jones is actually pulling
I'm
back right now. What were you gonna say, Victor?
No, I was gonna say the NQ. We're getting that reaction that we expected. It did not trigger me to get in on my rule-based strategy, but this is telling me that the market is getting in. I mean, the buyers are piling in, but so I'm very close at taking a position long here. I'm waiting for
Indeed.
price to settle down a little bit, and I'm ready to go long on the NAS on the NQ.
All right. I'm gonna start scaling in. So I'm putting how do you call that? Limit orders in. Let's see if we can
Mhm.
get in. And then if I go back to my little indicator here, it just triggered for the NASDAQ. So it gave me that A plus trigger here. So for a long. So we'll see. The only thing that I need to watch is that we're trading below the halfway point of the range. So it's just one thing to keep in mind. But apart from that, we're seeing strength. We've got an order in. Let's see if we get triggered. I'll risk about 100 points on that first. Micro. And the TP will determine after we're in the trade. And if I can't get lower prices, that's actually a good sign for the longs, because that's telling me that, okay, buyers are very aggressive. So you're saying your rule-based system triggered you?
No, not yet.
Oh, not yet. Okay.
Not yet. But I am looking at. Let's see. We do have on multiple time frames on the 3 and the 2 minutes. We do have the market indicating us that the reversal could be in. Um, I'm gonna wait for price to come a little bit lower, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put in some position.
Looks like price might leave us. We'll see.
Mm,
Let's
we
wait.
will
Let's wait.
see.
Let's wait. Let's wait.
I want to get in at maybe 330 long. Put my stop below the open of the low of the open.
No, that's exactly where my limit order is. So we'll see if we get it.
Oh, the my entry or my stop?
My, no, your entry. 29 330. No, if my entry is where your stop is, we got to talk about it. But let's see if we get that.
Gotta be patient.
We
But let
just got to
price
be
come to you.
patient. We got to be patient.
Mm.
Oh, BTC was talking about the gold ETF when he was talking about the 440 level. Well,
Mm.
while this is, loading, man, looks like buyers are stepping up higher. Let me take a quick look at what's happening with gold. Just switch to gold right now. All right, so gold pulling back as well. Let's look at oil. Oil trying to push up. We had a gap on oil as well in the overnight session. Looks like we're going to try to fill that gap. Silver. All right, buyers really piling in
Yep.
on the NQ. Let's look at the ES in the meantime, see what it's doing. Okay, ES behaving like we want it to behave as well. So pulling back over the upper end of the range like we expected. So I might actually take a trade on both.
Nice. Do you have any rules for take trading both at the same time?
No specific rules. Just if I'm getting the price action that I want on
Hmm.
either index, I'll trade them, and then the only rule is to keep my trades under control. So no more than 2R risk overall on
Hmm.
each. But that's about it. As long as the risk is under control, the rest figures itself out.
Nice. The
Yeah,
market is go ahead.
no, you could say it.
No, the market is not coming back, and so you're at least not coming back for now. So you either wait for your limit there, in my opinion, or you can, pay a premium and catch some of the upside that clearly the momentum is pointing towards.
Yep. So that's what we just did on the ES. I paid the premium because really this is a very very tiny risk. That is just to calm the nerves. What will happen is you'll enter the trade. Well, I know my temperament. I know who I am and how I am. So I'll enter the trade. And then if the trade immediately stops working, then it gives me a reality check that, hey, Dave, you need to calm down. But what it does also, it can act as extra confirmation that, hey, you're right, you probably need to be a little bit more aggressive on the other trade, that NQ trade, that is the actual trade that I want to get, because I think it's the one that has the most potential to pay off with the 150 point opening range. If we
Mhm.
get, I would say, two standard deviations, I mean, today is a day where we could capture possibly 300 plus points. So that would be a good day in any day's book, in anybody's book. I mean.
Sure. How do you calculate the standard deviation?
So I call it standard deviation. I don't know if it's a correct term, but it's based on the opening range. So basically, I have my box here, and I'm targeting basically another box on top,
Hmm.
right? And I know the two areas I need to target are the halfway point of this box and the upper end of this box. Why? It's basically how are people positioned, right? So if you
Hmm.
take um, let's talk about us. Both you and I are trying to get a similar entry. We're trying to get at that 29,330. So let's
Mhm,
theorize that most traders are in at this area, and most traders are going to risk either that previous low or maybe the opening range low. So if we take a position calculator and we risk, so let's say the average price of everyone is around, um, where is it? That price we're talking about, the 330, then
mhm,
anybody who is risking the opening range low, their first target is going to be this high, right?
mhm,
And then you're going to have more people that got in later that are going to be targeting a little bit lower. What that represents is for everybody that got in at that price at 330, exiting here is a 2-to-1 risk reward trade. So it's a logical area where people might target. The next logical
mhm.
area for these traders or the ones that got in late is a 3-to-1 or 2-to-1, which happens to be just below that 50% range. So as you get towards this area, you will usually see, let's say price, man, it looks like we're not getting that price, Victor.
Yeah, I'm gonna. We are flirting with that, breaking that downwards
I'm
trend
waiting,
line.
but
Yeah, I'm. I mean, if the price comes back to the area that I'm interested in, okay, that's a nice reaction. I want to see
okay,
more of that.
let's see.
That's good. I want a little. This is not the rule based system, so I allow myself to be more flexible.
A little bit
Um,
discretionary.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But let me check here. We have a
But
little.
what I was saying, yeah,
Go
sorry.
ahead. No, no,
No,
go
what I
ahead.
was saying is, anybody who gets in that area will go and target that half point at first,
Mhm,
right? So you will kind of get maybe somewhat of a pullback here. What happens is, for anybody that didn't have time to get in, that's why I kind of look for a breakout and pullback. Is you will have them pile in once we get that first pullback, and then we can go target higher, target that the upper end of the range. Of course, if it's a really bullish trend day, and if it is, then you could go and get more what I'm calling standard deviations above, so that's the idea behind it. That's how I calculate it, and based on my stats, that's what happens usually. um 60 to 70% of the time you will get, I have to look at those numbers again because they're way back in 2024 when I was tracking all these days with an Excel sheet. I haven't done that in a while, but you will get that first move up, and then on really good days you will get maybe twice or three times that move. So we'll see.
nice. And have you used any EMAs on the higher time frame to choose when to target bigger targets and when to
so
just, go for.
so funny thing about EMAs is every time I've used an EMA in the middle of the trade, I forget I have an EMA. So I forget I have the indicator on.
I'm
The
long,
thing
by the
is,
way.
I
I'm long. Before you continue, I'm long from 373 for a continuation. That's NQ or MNQ. I'm still wanting, if price comes to another level below, I will still get in another contract in, but I'm already in. I think it's showing strength, breaking that trend line. Maybe you can show my screen for a little bit,
yeah,
and I
sure.
can show you.
Let's keep your screen on. Oh, sorry.
Uh, all right, so
Just 1 second.
this is the area that we were talking about. That's the entry or order block. Price did come in, react very, very nicely to it, but it did not trigger me. And I'm still waiting for some indication where price, could come in. This is the quasi, and I'm waiting. This is not typically this is not. That's what why I mentioned the rule based system would not have me get in here, because I'm selective with the traits that I take, but I did take it anyways, with some, not adhering to any specific rule, but the entry is 173 25, I believe it is, and my stop is below that area. This is the actual structure that I think, you know the basis of the entry. And I'm still I would still actually I would want price to come back and retest this, and then have the reaction to get me into the trade. Because since we're trading live, this is a good place for a continuation for the momentum trade. The target, we can target multiples of the range on the 15-minute to begin with. Let's see, let's measure how much that is. We have 153. I mean, 300, as you said, sounds a good price to me. 153 would put us to around 580 something, 58. Doesn't have to be too precise. Something like that. Since this is discretionary, I'm gonna be closing it discretionarily as well. So target something like that. There, that's the trade. It's 1 to 2. Uh, and the let me double check with the where the entries were. 25. So this is 25. Uh, and we'll see what if the market will come back to 73.25 there. And the stop is at 75 round, which is below the open of the below the low of the open.
Nice. So very similar trades here for you and I got in a little bit later. Um, my entry's at 84, so we'll see what we get. And
Not too far
targeting.
away.
I'm sorry.
It's not too far away at all. 74, you said?
No, 84. So I'm about 10 points
Oh,
away.
84. Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. So looking at
Um,
that, go ahead.
there was a great entry at 59 when we wicked lower, and I thought that was the 50% where we could enter, but we didn't get that. We did get a great reaction where I had my little circle here, but so it's funny how sometimes you're too patient and sometimes you're not patient enough. And I guess today is one of the days where I was too patient, but we will
But
see what we get.
I don't think it's it's just a choice, or you can
Yeah,
uh only trade your levels, and that's it, and that's fine. I think that's
that's it.
good. Um, and you can be flexible as well. I mean, the market is dynamic. If the market is reacting on something higher, and you allow yourself, you have enough data, why not? Why not go with the momentum, and
Indeed. Now,
and
so
have to adopt to it.
you were talking about EMAs earlier. Do you use
Yes.
EMAs for your exits? And if you do, I'd like to, see
No.
your take on that.
No, I don't. I used to use for a long time, very long time ago. I used to use the 13 EMA on the 5 minute on Forex as a trading, because that was capturing, when the market is impulsive, it's gonna typically respect the 13 EMA on the 5 minute for
Mhm.
these moves when it breaks out and so on. And I think it's still a great tool to use. So on the 5 minute, targeting the, let me see if I can. So not the 13. I mean, it's not here. I don't think it is here, but that would be the yellow candle, and use it whenever the market breaks out as a trailing tool. Meaning, whenever price stops, closes below, or actually just goes below, could be a sign for taking off that trade. Um, but I don't use it anymore, since I'm using order
Okay.
blocks and the quasis, which is since already a long time ago. I don't use EMAs. I do have them on, but only to give me a quick look as to where we are and possible levels that you know, we might be reacting upon. Like this, to me, is an indication right there.
Yeah.
That's not a coincidence, and that's actually the cue that I got, that this is likely
It's
not
a
going to go much lower, at least not now, maybe later on. But that's, to me, that was the rejection by having it by doing it on the this is the 50 EMA on the 1 minute. That gives me the indication that the sellers are really reacting as they should right before price is gonna you know go up, go north, and I want to be part of it. So
Indeed.
I got in. That's why I got in there at that level basically. And I already saw also that the market retested the trend line. And if we're getting a buy signal or a indication of buyers coming in after it indicated or acknowledged that trend line, what does that mean? It's going to break the trend line most likely. And it doesn't mean it's going to break out of the opening range yet, but it's positioning itself for, it's opening the door for that. You will still have to see when price comes back. Does it retest? Does it hold that trend line? Does it maybe hold some other structures it made on its way up? Because it will have to do that in order to break through and continue. But we don't get the full picture all at once, right? We get one
Yeah.
candle at a time, and you gotta go with the information we had. And at that point, I understood that this is a great. The market is actually uh, it's a nice point where you say, well, from this point on, it's likely to go long, to be going up. And if not, then I want to have something related to this along from here, which is the place that I talked about, right? So this is the area of interest and price that we indicated way before. At when price were all the way up here, this is the place that I want a price to retest, and it did. I didn't get an entry here because it didn't trigger me. But even if it comes back, I'm still interested in getting another long in from this level, if possible, putting my stop here, or maybe this one stopped out, and that's fine. I'll put my stop wherever the low was, and then still target the continuation, because price does that very often. Although once it gets outside of it breaks the opening range, the probability of it coming all the way back and actually go up are not that great anymore, because it's showing weakness, and
Yeah.
price
That's actually not
might
something
lose.
you necessarily want to see if you're long.
No, I don't. You don't want to see that.
Yeah.
Once it breaks this range, the opening range, you don't want it to go back all the way to the extreme. That's it shouldn't be happening. Um,
Exactly.
but
That's a
it
sign. That's
hasn't broken
that's a
out
sign
yet.
that you're probably the
Yeah.
longs are the longs not on anymore, and you probably should change
Yes.
your bias.
Yes.
Unless it
Indeed.
happens because of breaking news, and then we can just revert immediately. But yeah, I totally agree with you there. If I could add
Mhm.
a caveat to what you're saying, well, not a caveat, just an added check, is to look at the volume. I know not everybody use volume, but I do use volume.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, I wasn't looking at it. I was just too mesmerized and focused on what Victor was saying, and didn't look at the charts. But if you look at the volume on these in these areas, let me just make my screen bigger. It tells you something. And
Mhm.
so as we got, I put my little circle there because I said I wanted to see, what price was going to do, and unfortunately, didn't really pay attention to what was happening there when it happened. I think I was looking at the yes, but we could see that as we pulled back, volume was steadily decreasing, and then we started to
Mm.
get an increase in volume right on that green print there, right? So
Mhm.
that was your first indication that okay, volume is rising, and we probably saw an acceleration in the speed of the tape there as price was pushing up. So that is a good indication of okay, we are reaching a turning point. And then on that rejection here, you also had an increase in volume. So the way you could think about it is if we have a store, are people running out of the store or people running into the store? And that tells you that there's a lot of people that have an interest in these prices, because basically, if we can consider volume people, we have a lot of people interacting there in comparison to previously. And the fact that we pushed lower, we had an increase in volume, and then it quickly recovered, it tells you, hey, there's a lot of people running into the store to go get these new shoes that they wanted to buy because there's this 50% discount from this morning here, we pushed, we were selling at whatever 24 490, and then we pushed to the 50% in comparison to here. So a lot of people are piling in to get their discount quickly. Now we want to find out, okay, like Victor was saying, are we going to get another discount and we'll have people piling in again, or is the sale off and then everybody's just getting rid of their shoes? So we'll see what happens. I think as long as we're staying above this price, and then we're above VWAP, and we're still in the upper half of the range, we're still looking good for the longs. So we'll see what we get. Put your
Yes.
screen back on.
Yes, and there's something else as well, for those who are familiar with how I mark the order blocks and what I call order blocks. We do have a 5 minute here that hasn't been able to be broken yet. And I say yet because obviously, my target indicated I expect it to be broken at some point, and it needs to be broken in order for it to break the opening range. This is, since I didn't expect price to come all the way to this area on the 1 minute. Again, it already did that. The next area in the 5 minute would be the order block that was created as that point where the market is the volume was indicating interest of the market participants. So it's not an entry order block actually. It's just a regular order block. But if you're trading discretionary, then this would be an area where I would be interested in looking to see if the market is on the lower time frames, maybe on the one, it does something like this and then come back and it reacts again. If it does that, even if it does that a little bit higher, that's a very nice place for price to reverse. It needs to reverse there, and if it doesn't, then maybe the trade will not work at all, and that's fine. um but it will probably give us that sign, if we're going to have that reversal, and we can read that if we go to the 1 minute market turning around quite aggressively, I should say. Now
What
I'm
I
not
want
going to
to
be.
add, huh?
Mhm. No,
No,
I'm not gonna go ahead.
sorry, I want to let you finish.
Go ahead.
No, what I wanted to say is, well, it was a little bit before that aggressive sell off that we got, but I was saying, on the ES, things were looking just fine and dandy while the Nasdaq was pulling back. But the ES is pulling back here, but it's pulling back in logical areas. So as we said, we broke out, we pulled back from the upper end of the range. We saw some profit taking, and the profit taking is at logical areas where we usually see that happen. So, for example, we saw some early profit taking here right before the 50% area of that opening range. And then right now we're seeing it just a little bit above there. So, as long as the ES remains above this opening range, which would correspond to this area for the Nasdaq, I think we should just be fine. We'll see what happens, and then if it doesn't work out, well, it doesn't work out.
That's fine, no problem at all. By the way, the retest of the order block, I don't, let me check if you have my screen on.
Yeah,
This
yeah, your
happened
screen is on.
when, if you look at the news, it happened on the existing home sales release numbers. So
That time.
you can see we can see hand in hand. The technicals among us will say, it's the order block. I would say that very often, but it's also the fundamentals will say, well, it is the news that made the market react this way, and I think both of them are right. The market has, so now is the moment. I'm not gonna take this the trade off. So if it stops me out, then so be it.
Yeah,
But
same here.
what I want to see here is, do we get the reaction? And if we don't, then I don't want to touch it. I just want to take my loss, and that's fine. But if we do get a reaction, I want to see, is it indicative of the market just reacting or reversing? So far, it looks very weak. It looks like it's going to break and just go south, and that's fine. Um, I see.
And in my case, if the trade does not work out and we get stopped out,
Mhm.
then that is my indication that okay, now you need to start looking for shorts because remember I was short biased at the beginning of the day.
Mhm.
A loss on a long is just information for me that okay, we
Yep.
are positioning short now. So we need to look for short entries, and I think that's what's happening here. We're seeing an acceleration to the downside.
It hasn't taken me on the platform, but it's so close. It's right there. Hasn't taken me on the platform.
Yeah, same thing for me. I'm not gonna X out. I'm just gonna wait.
Yep.
Um,
I'm not gonna go in and get another position either. At least not now. This is way too bearish to go in. I need an actual reaction. And Okay, so that's a nice reaction
yeah,
here.
we're getting a
But
nice
we haven't.
reaction here.
Yeah, yeah.
I the other day we were talking about the speed of price,
Hmm.
and I was saying that I like to look at the speed of price. And actually, while we're on the ES, let me just show something really
And I
quickly.
think
Mhm.
I think this looks that we're gonna go south.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's looking more bearish than bullish, definitely.
um, if you look at the, let me see if I can. If you look on the 5 minute, in order for this to turn around, it basically needs to, uh, overtake the last candle on the 5 minute. I don't see that happening. Right, that candle is just as almost as big as the opening candle. That's going to take a lot of effort.
Yeah,
Um, so the 5 minute is, and you got that barcoding on the 15, which tells you a lot of indecision. This looks like indeed, as we're seeing here. Okay, so I got stopped out.
I
It
got
looks
stopped out as
indeed,
well.
that this is gonna go south, and so that I don't want to get my position in on those based uh, on that premises. What I'm still able to catch is if we get a sweep of that low, and we have a good reaction coming back in, that could be the opposite again. So first we entered, the market was telling us it wants to go up. It kind of failed at breaking that high before breaking the low, meaning it wants to go bearish. And if we get that change again in direction or script or order flow, then that's a good sign to go long as well. It's a
Yep.
risky one because the market is right there at the edge of the cliff uh, for recouping its bearish stance. Um, so that's a stop out. Let's see if the market comes back. So you want to be seeing. You want to be seeing the market, undoing the damage. Right. This is a bearish order block on the 1 minute. You want to see it create some bullish outside bar, some engulfing, some pin bars, for that indication. I don't see it yet. I don't
We'll
see
see.
it.
We'll see what we get. We had some, so we're looking at similar things, just a slightly different way, but we're coming to similar conclusions.
Hmm.
I had marked out. It's funny how well price has been reacting off of these levels that I had marked out. I had this trend line here, and we're reacting really, really well off of this area. I had marked out these little pockets here that basically lined up with the previous areas where we find support, and we're reacting nicely there. So we'll see. When it comes to longs or shorts, I had said that for me, this was no man's land. So we tried
Hmm.
to take the long. Right now, for a short setup, I kind of want us to form a structure below this area. I know it would probably be very late, but it's a position I might possibly hold overnight. So we'll
Hmm.
see. We'll see what we get. But we did get an acceleration here. Oh yeah, this is what I wanted to talk about: the speed of price. The other day we were talking about the speed of price, and
Hmm.
we were I somebody asked, it's like, oh, what do you call the speed of price? So what I was explaining is that if we have price
I'm
move.
long. Sorry, but I'm long. Go ahead.
You're long. All right, I'm gonna wait. If you have price moving this way, right? Price can move this way forever because it represents somebody kind of walking, right? I like to make
Hmm.
comparisons where if you have price kind of going this way,
Hmm.
then it represents somebody maybe jogging. Now, you can walk for a much longer time than you can jog for. You could probably walk for days, whereas you could jog for hours, right?
Mm.
And then when you have acceleration, like we have here, that's probably you sprinting, right?
Mm.
So the idea is, if you make the analogy, you can walk for hours. You can walk for days or hours. You can jog for hours or minutes, but you can only sprint for seconds or maybe a few minutes at best. So what you want to
Mm.
think about is when price accelerates, well, it needs to slow down. It needs to change direction, and that's what I was going to mention here. Is we had price accelerate here, but there comes a point where the price needs to slow down. It needs to go from, if that is considered sprinting, it needs to slow down and probably shift to jogging. What we want to find out is, okay, are we slowing down to sprint again, or are we slowing down to kind of maybe jog or walk? If we're going to sprint again, then that means we're going to continue to the downside. So
Mm.
me personally, that's what I want to wait for, to see if this is going to be a continued move to the downside.
Clear.
And
That
by the
makes a
way,
lot.
I'm short on the ES. I've been short on the ES before we got that move here, waiting for a pullback. Yeah. The chat is quiet. I think our viewers are probably printing millions because they are not um, asking us anything. they're, they're just fading us probably. But guys, I'm just joking around. Let me know what you're looking at, what you're considering. Let's see what we can get today. And while we're waiting for price to kind of decide what it wants to do, taking a quick look at gold here. Gold still holding this pullback here, maybe trying to continue to oscillate higher, and we'll see what we get. Now the Nasdaq is making a nice recovery. This probably was some kind of a liquidity sweep.
Yeah, that's the reason I got
You
in
entered long.
long back. Because the area, maybe you can show my screen.
Sure.
Um, the area that the whole long idea, even though this hasn't been negated yet, right? So that counter argument for a long, that this big candle is still standing. If you're unable to exceed or negate, take over this candle, then my second trade will fail as well.
Hmm.
However, the whole idea was based on the area of interest, which is this. And that area is still, even though it has been pushed to the max, it's still standing. And this area is based on the H1 and H2. If you go to the H1, H2, it's still standing. Even though it's been squeezed, we talked about that. We want that lower wick, even if it takes these lows out. We want that to happen because that can be fuel for the market to continue go higher. as liquidity sweeps are. And if you
Yep.
go to the 1 minute, you can see that the area that we talked about, that we indicated first, right? That's the reaction that got me, and actually that's the second idea that got me in. That area is still on the 5 minute, um, and also on the 15, but on the 5 minute, it's still standing tall, right? So even though the market squeezed the area, even though the market kind of punched it a couple of times and actually was able to sweep the low, it was unable to break it, in my opinion. And as long as it's unable to close below that, it's still viable as a level to be bought. Still to be, it still has to be, it still has to prove its point that it can take, the 5 minute on the opposite direction. If it can't take that, then the trade is, it's no good. Um, at that point, if price comes back and does this, then I could consider a close before to stop out. But if it just stays here, then I can, if it even it goes a little south, I can hold that, and hopefully it will break out. I'll wait longer for that possible breakout. Um, but that's how I understand, price action, right? So if it's still holding that level, I can get in without having complete confirmation that this is, there's nothing holding us back, because this big move here to me is indicative that we are actually going south.
Hmm.
That's the To me, this move indicates that it wants to go south and has a good chance of going south. But the market is always, both sides. It's like the tug war of
Tug of
tug,
war.
or tug of war, where you have both sides gaining traction, uh gaining on each other, and any given moment one side looks to be the winning, and
Hmm.
that the winning side, it keeps alternating between one and the other. So you cannot wait until it's completely clear that one side is going to win, because by then the edge is gone.
Exactly.
um you got to go in, at the extremes. At least that's how I take it, at the extremes, to go long here, and perhaps at the extreme to go short higher.
Hmm.
Because then you have, you're close. I can get in with my high risk reward ratio, and yes, the price that I pay is that my win rate isn't great. But that's fine. I mean, as long as I'm profitable and I can reproduce the same results over and over again. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, win rate, it has to go along with risk reward. You know,
Mhm.
you might have a 10% win rate, but if you're making 10 to 1, 20 to 1 trades every time you're right, then that's not a problem at all. So high win rate, low win rate, doesn't mean anything without what you're getting in terms of risk reward. So no problem at all there. And then full disclosure, I had hedged the position, so I went short on the ES, but then the I got out of the short when price started to show me the opposite, and actually gave a great long entry, which I did not take. So now, as Victor got a pretty good entry, and the way that the ES is behaving is confirming that price definitely wants to push higher. I'm just gonna have to wait and see if I can find a late
On the
entry. So we'll see.
on the 30 minute, this looks, there's it's ambiguous, because you got these upper wicks which indicate, the market wanting to go lower, but at the same time, price action. If you're considering the candlestick combination, it does look like we're getting ready for that push up. So it's both at the same time. Uh, it's that's the market, right? You got the argument for both at the same time, and you gotta see the uh which one has the upper hand. And on the hourly, this looks solid to for some push higher, I would say.
Yeah, I would agree there. I think on the hourly it looks definitely solid for a push higher. And not to toot my horn too much, but the way I'm gonna put my screen back on. But it's always beautiful when the market reacts to your levels in a way that you kind of expected it to react. So
Mhm,
you guys remember me pointing out these two areas. The reason I pointed out these two areas this morning was because they aligned with those previous levels, and they also aligned with the overall longer term trend, right? So this was, as they like to point out, this was max pain. And you saw it live. This is where both Victor and I got stopped out. This is
mhm,
where, as long as we experienced max pain, so basically they want to get everybody out, they quote unquote. And then once everybody gets liquidated, then price has no choice but to go to the opposite side. So since we tried three times and with increased speed to push price lower, and also, if I switch to the ES, the structure on the ES is much more bullish than bearish. I think we might possibly continue and form another trend day. Maybe it won't be as intense as Friday, but as of yet, price is looking to push higher. Of course, that could change at
mhm,
any moment, but we'll see. We'll see what we get. I will wait patiently to get either a breakout and a pullback, or some kind of pullback, in order for me to enter above a level that makes sense. So levels that make sense for me would be some kind of breakout here, a test higher, and then we maybe retest these previous levels for a continuation. Or maybe I'll try and go get price above the opening range if we do continue there. But so far, I'm just sitting tight, holding back, and wishing Victor the best. Let me just put some green arrows there like I do with Samir. We always say the secret is just put green arrows on your chart.
mhm. And talking about Victor, no, I'm not going to talk about myself in the third person. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank everyone for having me here. Thank you, Dave, for my time here. I always enjoy spending time with you guys, watching us with you, Dave. I My time is has run out in terms of my other commitments. For those who are wondering what I'm talking about, we have the Discord session starting in about 15 seconds, not say 15 seconds, 15 minutes or so. I'm talking about my ultra fast execution time frame. No, it is the Discord community. If you don't know what I'm talking about, on your the Fivers hub, there is a if you get an account with us, at the left there upper corner, you'll see the Discord icon. You click there, you get the access to the most beautiful community Discord server out there. We're here to help you, and that's exactly what we do on every weekday, which is talk about uh, trading, everything
Yep.
around it. Dave, thank you very very much, and
Awesome.
those watching, I leave you in the most capable hands of this gentleman who has a lot to share, and you can learn a lot from him. So don't pass that chance. Don't forget to like and
Indeed.
subscribe this channel, which is, you know, uh, our little favor, a little gesture, token of appreciation back if you enjoy the moment we spend with you here. Thank you very much, Dave. And
Thank
I'll
you
see
very
you
much, Victor.
again soon.
Indeed, indeed. It was a great one as usual. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you soon.
Take care. Bye bye.
Take care. All right, and there was one. We still have about 10 minutes to go on stream, guys. Very happy to be with Victor. Just insane, Boxy, Dave. Yeah, we have our box there. I'll maybe try to make it simpler for you guys. So we're seeing a little bit of selling as well. Let me get this out of the way. So let's just look at the ES first because it looks, it looks simpler. You had, and that's what happens when you're streaming, is that you'll miss some setups because you can't be looking at everything at once. But we had, our range form. We had the 50% pullback here, break out of the range. So that could have been your first entry. Then we had a pullback here. That could have been your second entry, targeting the halfway point there, which would have been a trade. Then we pulled back again exactly to the 50% of that range. That could have been your long entry. I took my short around here and then exited right around VWAP on the ES. Unfortunately, did not reverse long. But that was your entry here. And then that you're just looking at two targets. You're looking at the 50% of the range again, and then you're looking at the upper end of the range. And if it's really, really, another trend day, then you could continue to oscillate higher to that longer term, upper end resistance there. So we'll see what we get on the ES. Unfortunately, I did not catch that long. So what I'm going to wait for is to see, okay, later on during the day, can I get some kind of setup on the Nasdaq? Now, we had great reactions on the lower end of the range. Unfortunately, got stopped out and did not have time to catch the long again. So what we're waiting for is to see, okay, are we going to get a curl here on the Nasdaq? Are we going to get a curl lower and possibly test these levels again? So for me, as long as we stay above this yellow line here, which is a longer term trend. So if I zoom out, right, based on the trend that we've had throughout the last week, this is where we kind of want to hold above. So if we hold above, let me get this. Too many lines. I don't need these really. If we form, a rounding top, maybe because we've seen rounding tops and then the market explodes higher instead of continuing lower, right? Usually when you get a rounding top, what you would expect is a pullback and kind of an upside down cup and handle, and you go and oscillate lower. But what we've seen lately is we get the rounding top and then the market explodes higher. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for price to do. So that would be one possibility. And then another possibility, it would be, okay, if the market wants to really be strong, then we go retest the upper end of the range. We literally break out, we pull back, and we continue higher. That would be the more bullish setups. But these are going to take a while to develop. These are probably setups that I would take, in another few hours. They're not going to happen right now. Now, the other setups that we could see possibly if the bulls really can't hold price higher is if we get, another fall to the downside. What I want to see is I want to see us break down from here, pull back under these levels, and possibly here enter short. So these would be the levels, the areas where I would be looking for trades. And that's what I want to see, right? If we break higher, then we can follow through to the upside and look for long setups. But if not, then we will look for short setups, and we will have to wait and let these build. Justin, did you get any gold trades? I have Tuba here. You said you're still waiting to see, but that was 15 minutes ago. I don't know if you're still waiting to see or if you're in a trade. Let me look at the Dow Jones really quick. So Dow Jones still moving sideways. Let me look at the Russell. We didn't look at the Russell today. Russell somewhat bullish, doing somewhat of a pullback here, so no problem at all. Let me take a quick sip. So I talked to you about my little indicator that I built on TradingView. I'm going to show you something really interesting here. Let's go to the 1 minute. Let me put the indicator on. So one thing I want to point out, the way I built this indicator is the first take profit level is here. You see that green line? Based on the studies and the observations I've done, you see how we reacted to that area twice? So this was an entry, we reacted here, pushed lower. This was an entry, reacted here, pushed lower. The idea behind this is usually when we have an opening range, we will see profits getting taken right below that initial pocket of resistance. And that's what happened twice today, right? So the best entry was around here. When we did that liquidity grab, tagged the pre-market low and pushed higher. Now we are again at that level. And if we're really bullish, I want to see us break out of here. Because the other thing we need to consider is because of all the news and everything that's happening this week, this might also be a sideways consolidation day where we never really get a trend, we never really get follow through, and we just continue oscillating sideways, right? And we stay within this 150 point range. And that's not really what I want to see. What I want to see is, okay, can we break out of there and go conquer higher levels, or can we break down from there and go check out lower levels, right? So we'll see. Justin saying you missed the gold run as always. Let's look at gold. Okay, gold pulling back. You know, the thing with gold is you really have to, especially when you're trading it intraday, you really have to wait for very good setups, or you have to be trading a very, very, very short time frame. My problem with trading a very short time frame on gold is that it doesn't scale. I mean, you could trade it with a few contracts, you know, with a few minis or micros, but the idea is one day, you know, you want to be taking 100 lots on these trades, and I don't want to have setups that can't scale. So that's why you will see me taking setups that I'm looking to hold for, you know, half an hour or more, possibly days, because those quick in and out setups don't really scale. So that's one reason I'm not too interested in trading gold intraday unless I see something that's really, really clear. Because gold will have a tendency to consolidate for far longer than you think, and then you'll finally get the breakout. And we haven't seen too many great intraday setups lately. So we'll see. Let me check out oil. Oil pushing higher. And we're getting the inverse reaction on the indices and on gold. Is there any other news? Spot silver continuing to rise. So silver is continuing to rise. Let's look at silver. Well, silver kind of consolidating sideways as well. VIX still at 18. I didn't look at the Mag 7. Let's just do that really quickly. NVIDIA. Let me add my VWAP. NVIDIA pushing higher, actually. So that's a good sign for the indices. Apple, middle. Tesla trying to recover. Amazon, Meta, Google, Broadcom. Interesting. Everything's slightly red. So it might just be a sideways consolidation day. We'll see. We will see. Now, with just 1 minute left on the live, honestly, we're going to have to see what we get today. So like I told you, For longs, I don't want to be trading inside of this range. I kind of want to get out of there, retest, and go higher. And then if we're going to be taking shorts, kind of same idea. Maybe I might enter sooner, but I want us to go, retest those levels, maybe retest the upper end of the trend and push lower. Or for a more decisive move, we would just go break out, retest, and move lower. That's what I will be looking for and see if we can get that today. If not, then tomorrow is another day and we take another trade. Tomorrow I should be live with Airplane Jane, so that's always a fun one. We know that Jane is an ultra fast scalper, so we'll see what she comes up with, what her take is on the Fed, and as usual, I will see you tomorrow in the markets. Take care, everyone. Thank you very much. Remember to like before you leave if you haven't done so. Stay safe out there, control your stops, and I'll see you soon. Thank you very much, guys. Take care.